drag my books all the way over here. We will be doing a yes, no, maybe of some very popular BookTok books. Yes, no, maybe, but with extra steps, okay? I won't bore you. Let's just get into it, okay? Quicksilver. Yes. Yes. I will not hold you. This book is so good. A lot of fantasies now, or especially like romantasy, when they do the romance, there is just smut. It's not a lot of like pure connection, like, you know, like get to know each other, like connect with each other, get your fears and like all that. And in this book, dude, there was connection. There was one scene, oh, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but there was one scene where like she had hugged him and oh my god, I could feel the connection. Absolutely yes. If you want a romantasy that has everything that you need, basically just like pure connection, still some smut in here, but like actual connection. Yes, absolutely yes. It's gonna be a no for me. I'm so sorry. Oh, you guys are probably like, why, Ayana? There was just, okay, I love possession as much as the next girl in books. I really do. I do, okay? I do. But there was something about the way, this is gonna be spoiler. If you don't want spoilers in this book, please skip past this. But there was something about the way that like, when he was like, into work, right? Remember when they went on that trip to the safari or whatever the fuck? She was like trying to have a cool safari because she's never had a vacation, and he couldn't even like give her time off of work, so she rightfully got mad, right? He didn't rectify that enough for me. Like, it was still all about work. He just took the job away from her. Like, does that make sense? Like, instead of being his assistant, like, she just had no work anymore, but it was still all about work. And I feel like he just didn't rectify. He like, I'm all for possession, but I don't know how to explain it. It's more of like, in books, it's like a possession, but he still understands that she's going to be his own person. In this book, right, Declan, he felt like he owned Iris. And like, all the shit, like when she got really mad at him, left him, because, and then the fact that he was lashing out at her. Wait, okay, let me not get into this. No, let's get into it. Because the way that she was doing everything to help him, then he called her, right, when the little investor guy was at Dreamland and he was following his dad around and stuff like that. And he had called her, he was like, please come help me. And she came up there from her little tour of like the ecosystem or whatever the fuck. And she was helping him, and then he snapped at her, and then she left, rightfully so. And then from his POV, he still thought he was entitled to her. Like, he showed up at his friend's house and was like, where is she? I need to talk to her. And he like came in the house and like all this other stuff. I was like, damn, nigga, you fucked up. Like, why do you think that you have any sort of entitlement to her? She doesn't owe you shit. Like, he didn't do enough groveling for me. And at the end, he still had his problems. I know y'all love Declan Kane. Okay, I loved Iris personally. She stood on business. I loved Iris, but Declan, for me, I was just like, no. Like, at the end of this book, he didn't have a lot of development for me. Like, anyways, let's move on. Another note. Let's talk about Rowan Kane, okay? I read this book a long time ago, so all I can tell you is yes, I did like this book a lot. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm so sorry, guys. It's like Zahara? Like Sahara, but with a Z? I don't remember anything about this book but vibes. But I just know that the vibes were good. Like, he was nothing like his brother. I like this book. I think it's a yes. I like this book. I really did. I feel like he did have some character development. I was very confused about how she was living in Dreamland. Like, did she live underground? because I know that actual Disneyland, like, you know, everything that the workers do is underground. And when they were talking about her house, I was like, does she live underground? Anyways, hooked. No. 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 I don't. I like dark romance, okay? At least I think I do. But this book, she had Stockholm Syndrome. She had some issues. Like this. Okay, okay. First of all, he was using her the whole entire time. Then she gave him her virginity. Then he turned around and just off like a whim, no concrete evidence, no nothing, just off like pure thoughts and hopes and dreams alone, he thought that she was a part of the plan. And so he kidnapped her and hurt her, right? Felt no remorse for it. And yet this bitch still like wanted him. And I was like, okay, again, I don't think that he did enough groveling. Like, Hook definitely did not do enough groveling. What was the girl's name in this book? Wendy. I should have known that. But he didn't do enough groveling to Wendy. Oh, you know what? You want to know something else, too, that made me really mad? There was these two friends in this book. I forgot. One of them was like Marie or Annie or something. Maria and Angie, right? I swear to God, when I read the chapter when they were in the club and James was like coming over to Wendy, Hook was coming over to Wendy and stuff like that. No. Because then basically her friends are horrible, right? Because they said some shit about her and like she even acknowledged it in the book. Wendy was even like, oh yeah, that was a shit thing to say, and she got like mad as shit. Then at the end of the book, she was still friends with them. I was like, what the hell? At the end of the book, it was like, what is it called? The epilogue or whatever the fuck. And she had her little happy ending with, Hook on their little yacht and shit. And they were like, oh yeah, she's still friends with Angie and Marie. What? You should have dropped them. Like, how is she going to have all this character development and yet she didn't drop her? Don't even get me started. This book was I can understand why some people would like it if you're really, really, really deep into dark romance. It just wasn't for me because it was like, how are you gonna be into someone who literally kidnapped you, right? He hasn't even said he's sorry yet, and you're letting him fuck you again, but you're not gonna drop the friends who talk shit about you. You literally killed your own father, and you're not gonna drop the friends who... Okay, because I was just, yeah. This series, dude, I was a little bit skeptical because, I don't really be trusting y'all, but I'm not gonna lie, I ate this up. First of all, what the fuck is his name? Raven? Is that his name? Raven? Is that how you pronounce it? Anyways, Raven, right? I know I was supposed to like him, and I did. In the first book, he was boyfriend, he was husband. But Elm in the second book, dude, don't even get me started. Oh my God, he just override everyone. Like, he was so fun. And the thing is, I don't usually like characters like Elm, and yet he just grew on me, and I was like, oh my God, this book is definitely a yes. This is definitely a yes. A yes 100%. I did grow to love the Shepherd King. Like, he was annoying as fuck at first. I was like, why are you here? But then I grew to like him, and I was like, oh, my Shayla. Manacled. I'm sorry. The box is kind of fucked up. I'm getting another box soon. Don't worry, guys. Manacled. Okay, hear me out. So I am not a Draco Miney person. I read all the books and I watched all the movies, and like the way that he talked to her and was so mean to her, I could never just look at that and be like, yeah, they should end up together. I don't have that type of mind, guys. I just hated him. I hated him. But everybody's like, you need to read this book. You need to. And then she was like, oh, it's going to be gone from AO3 at the end of this year. And so I was like, fine. So I downloaded it and I read it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. This book is so good. Although you do have to get through there, it's like very slow to start, but once you get to like the flashbacks, you start to understand, okay? So just hold in there. But this book, dude, so good. So good. Cuz like usually I have a bone to pick with the girls in the books that end up getting with the man who like talks shit to them and stuff like that and is like mean to them. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, he didn't grovel enough, he didn't apologize enough, you know. I'm one of those. But in this book, it really, like, I don't know how to explain it, like, it made sense, okay? It was enough time, she stood on business enough, not enough to be annoying, but enough to be like, okay, he deserves a cookie now. And like, it was just like, you have to read it, okay? You have to read it. This book is so good. Have a moment of appreciation for the box set. It actually comes with like pictures and stuff, but we're not going to get those out. I'll break the set if I try to do that. First, Butcher and Blackbird. This book was funny as hell. I would say yeah, because I actually giggled a couple of times because this book is funny as hell and it's kind of morbid, kind of, you know, very, why are we doing this? Is this, I look like I have a horn. Anyway, it's a very good book. Have a lot of gripes about it. It's just that the way that they were doing things as like serial killers, there's no way that they were successful, which is why it's fictional, but there was no way that they were successful serial killers. Like, they would have been caught by now with all the like communication and texting over the phone and shit. Like, absolutely not. Like, no. Yeah, but I do really love them. I love their story, and I love the timeline. I love that it happened over a really, like, long timeline. It wasn't just, like, instantly, like, they just, because it shows that they had trust, they had time to think about each other, they, you know, whatever. I don't want to spoil it. Yes. The second book. No. It was a no for me. I'm sorry, guys. It was a no for me. It was just, Lachlan, that's his name, Lachlan and Lark. I know that a lot of people are into that whole, like, I may be your girlfriend, but I'm your whore type of stuff. I'm not. I don't like, I'm not into that, you know? And I didn't really feel like they had much of a connection throughout the whole book. Like, even when they started fucking, I just didn't think that they had a connection. I was just like, they're just fucking. It was kind of like A Court of Silver Flame to me. Like, it was like they were just fucking to fuck because they were in this arranged marriage. It was kind of icky. For me, it was like the first time that they had sex, they were in doggy. And I know, okay, hear me out, okay? For me, I don't like that. At least the first time that they have sex in books, I want them to look at each other and have like a connection, which is why I said that they didn't have a connection, because in the books, like, she was just like, I'm your whore, and he was like, you're my whore, and I was like, whoa, let's calm it down. Yeah, I don't really know. I think that the last scene of the last chapter, if you read this book, the last chapter, yes, I've never read anything like, I remember I started reading it and I was like, I'm kind of into this. I'm kind of really into this. So yeah. The last chapter, yes. This whole book, I didn't see the connection. Sorry. Yes, you guys already know my thoughts on. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how beautiful this is. Yes, I read this when it was what is it called, a manhwa? I think I'm pronouncing that right. And so I had to get the physical copy just because I wanted the smut written out. You need to leave. I have a problem. Anyways, and I thought it was gonna end when the princess, remember the princess came to visit. I thought that was when it was gonna end, but it ended at like a very awkward note, which is like, okay. Again, it was literally just like the manhwa, and I highly recommend the manhwa. It was really good. The only thing is like she's very contradicting and annoying. Maxie, if I had this tall, built like a mountain man who wanted to be only on me 24/7, I'm not telling him no. Like, I'm not saying, no, get off of me. What? And like the thing was that like she was contradicting herself. Like she was taught when she went through like training on how to be a wife, she was taught, oh, I can't say no to him. I have to be complacent. I have to sit there and do what he wants. And then he would try to do stuff with her and she'd be like, no, weren't you taught to do the exact opposite of that? Weren't you taught to say yes to him? Like, it was really weird. It kept going back and forth, and I was like, and then Riftan was pissing me off because anyone could look at her and see that she was like abused. Anyone. And the fact that he kept like flipping it on her, like, oh, do you not want to be married to me? Do you think that I'm an imbecile? Like, he had his insecurities, and it was like, okay, stop projecting. Like, let's look with our eyes for 5 seconds and see that she's got issues. Okay, she's got problems. Graceling. I only picked up this book. I heard nothing about this book. I heard nothing about it, and I only picked it up because it had a pretty cover. No, I don't recommend this book. Katsa. I'm sorry. I read these books, and I like, I just be reading over the names, and I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. I don't like say the names in my head, so I don't know how to pronounce a lot of this stuff. It was just meh, you know. First of all, Katsa and Poe made absolutely no sense. Like, it was like they were neutral, didn't even have any conversations, didn't even get to know each other. And then all of a sudden, when they were in the forest, he was like, I know you love me. She was like, oh my god, no. And then they like had sex. And I was like, when did y'all even have a conversation? Like, when did y'all even talk to each other? Do you even know her name? Like, I was so confused. I was like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Very confusing. Very confusing. Like, it was just like instant. Y'all want to talk about instant love? That was just instant love. Like, just. Then on top of that, right, when they never defined their relationship. Like, I didn't read the rest of the series, but you know, I went on wiki fandom, and I wanted to like know. They never defined their relationship. They were just always together, obviously, but they never defined their relationship, and that really pissed me off too. But like, yeah, this book is like, it's just kind of meh. I don't recommend it because it was like Costa and Poe, they just like got together just in an instant, and then who the fuck names their child Bittersweet or whatever the fuck her name is? No, they named their child Bitterblue. Who the fuck names their child Bitterblue? Not Casa and Poe. That was not their child. It was like this other child. And like, it just made no sense. I just, no. Yeah. Yeah, this book actually, because you guys probably don't know, but I am not like a kid family person. I don't, you know. But this book, at the end, like the end of this book, it made me like, oh, like, maybe I do want kids. Maybe I do want a family. Fox, okay, at the end of the book, when Fox was going crazy and he wanted to reach Hannah, I really don't think that she should have been in his house. I feel like she should have gone to like the town or back to LA or something. Like in the first book, what is it called? What was the first book of this series called? It Happened One Summer. In It Happened One Summer, when he went all the way to LA to find her, I feel like that's what it should have happened with Fox. Because what he did was just like, yeah. I feel like, but unlike in all the other books with men, I understood why he did what he did and why he was like that. and why he was like afraid of emotional connection, emotional intimacy and stuff. Why am I talking like that? Emotional connection and emotional intimacy. Emotional connection and emotional intimacy. I could understand. I could get it. Just, it was a beautiful story. Like, most little sweet romances like this don't get as deep as this book did. And this book, like, really was just like, it taught you something. And it was like deep. It was kind of like, what is that one book, Archer's Voice or whatever? Like, it was deep. Like, you got to understand why he was like that. And it wasn't just a cute little cozy romance like the first book was. And Fox, I truly do believe that he would become a great husband. Like, I truly do believe that. And he truly loved Hannah and all this other type of stuff. And that man could talk. Y'all want a man that could talk? This man could talk. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me calm down. Man could talk. Anyways, guys. That wasn't all the books I had, actually. I have a lot more books, but if you want to see more, please let me know. I have a lot more to go through. But yeah, those are my honest opinions. Attack me if you want to. But those are my honest opinions. Anyways, I will see you guys in part